In this week's show, we continue our How to Full-Time RV series with a look into RV, auto, and health insurance. Well, hi kids, and welcome to the show. Got my pineapple shirt on. You know what that means?
They're right side up. That's what
So it means nothing. It means we are vanilla. I'm Mike.
I'm Tony.
And this is Gracie Girl, the adventure dog. This is our RV Sunsets. We are a couple in our 50s that is on our third year of... I ask this every time. We're entering into the third year of our full-time RV life. I also want to welcome you to our series on how to full-time RV. And today we are going to talk about insurance, both health insurance and auto and full-time insurance on our rig. Anything else to add?
We're going to talk about prescriptions too.
Oh yes, we are going to talk about prescriptions as well, how we manage prescriptions. All right, so we get this thing going?
Sure.
All right, let's get it going with health insurance.
So when it comes to insurance, there's many ways of doing this. If you're like over 65, it's Medicare with some type of supplement to go along with that.
Maybe you're still employed and you're working remotely. And if that's the case, you're probably getting health insurance from your employer. But make sure to check with your employer or your benefits manager at your employer to make sure that that insurance is going to cover you wherever you are traveling to.
In our case, we had private insurance because we own our own business and had to buy our own insurance. For the last couple of years, we purchased it through the Covered California website. Very easy to do. Hardest thing about doing that was actually picking a plan. That had to change because we are now residents of South Dakota.
All right, so before we get too far down the road on the health insurance that we have, it's probably a good idea to kind of define how we use health insurance. So we typically don't go to the doctor a lot. We usually go once a year to get our annual physical, to get our flu shot, things like that. If we do get an illness or a sinus infection or some sore throat, something like that while we're on the road, we really like to use a telehealth option. That way we can just call in from wherever we're at and get any prescriptions that we may need to deal with whatever illness we have.
Our challenge now was to find health insurance in South Dakota. So I did what I did here in California. I went on the Affordable Care Act website there, and I have to say it was easy to sign up, but I didn't like the choices. None of it was nationwide, and just none of it was anything that I was used to. So I was rather disappointed. So what did I do? I reached out to a couple fellow RVers and asked them what they were doing. And they actually recommended an insurance broker. So we talked to this broker and he asked us a lot of questions about how we utilized our health insurance, how much we wanted to pay, did we have any, pre-existing conditions, just a lot of questions. And then when he came back with a health insurance, both health insurance, vision, and dental, and it was less than what I was paying for in California. And that's how I would recommend you look for your health insurance at first. If whatever state you go to, whether it's Texas, Florida, or South Dakota, go onto the Affordable Care Act websites and see what they have to offer. But if you're not happy, it doesn't cost you anything to reach out to an insurance broker. It's his job to sell you insurance, so he's going to try to do his best to make you happy.
Our current health plan is an AC Million Plan 250. What does that mean? The plan has a yearly deductible of $500 for the two of us. Is that all together or 500?
It's $500 for both of us.
So total 500.
Yeah.
Okay, so total 500 deductible. The annual plan has a max of $1 million a year and a lifetime max of $5 million. Office visits are a $50 copay up to the deductible. Once the deductible is paid, then no copay. And urgent care visits are always a $50 copay.
The plan also covers...
Oh, there's Heather. Hi, Heather.
Sorry.
Heather's one of the ladies that works here at Sun RV.
She drives by waving at us.
All right, try that again.
Okay, our plan also covers prescriptions, and I'm getting a better price on these prescriptions that I did in California. In fact, the one prescription that we each have didn't cost me a penny. Amazing. And speaking of prescriptions, how do we get our prescriptions?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me scroll down to that point of the script, and then I'll tell you.
I'll ask the question again.
We have one prescription each. In fact, it's the same exact prescription. We both take the same thing, same dose. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So on our previous insurance, we used CVS as our provider. Now, CVS is a national provider, so there are CVS stores all across the country. To get our prescriptions, all we did was transferred the prescription to the CVS closest to us, and then we would just go down to the CVS and pick it up. It was super, super easy to do. It worked out flawlessly. I can highly recommend doing it that way. But our new prescription,
Our new insurance only has one prescription provider. And at first I was like, that sucks, but not really, because the prescription provider is Costco. And as you know, there's Costco's everywhere. What we did was we spoke to our physician and had them, we were getting a prescription every 30 days. We asked them if they could extend it to every 90 days. So now I have more time to put that refill order in and have the prescription mailed to my mail service in South Dakota, and then I'll just have it FedExed with my mail to us.
honestly, the prescription part of it is really, really easy to manage. So don't get hung up on the prescription thing. We found it super easy to manage. Okay, so what about insurance for your rig and your other vehicles? When it comes to insurance, you're actually going to wind up with a couple of policies. You'll wind up with one for your rig, your motorhome, or your towable, and then you'll wind up with a policy for your other vehicle. In our case, since we have a towable, it's our pickup truck. If you have a motorhome, it might be your towed, your car that you tow behind. The only possible exception to this is if you're one of the Class B adventure van type people. In that case, you're not going to have a towable. Your adventure van is your get around town car and your motorhome.
First, let's talk about the policy for your rig or your motorhome. You should get a full-time policy.
I just see that as one of those texts that has the clap hands in between every word.
Since you are living full-time in this rig, you should have a full-time rig policy. One of the worst things that could possibly happen is something happens and your claim gets denied.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. I've seen so many people like on Facebook groups and stuff talk about, well, we don't have to have a full-time policy. I don't know if you know how insurance works, but they're basically investment companies that take your money, invest it, and make money off of it. The only way they lose money is if they actually have to pay your claim. So don't give them a reason to not pay your claim. Just get full-time auto or full-time insurance on your rig. For us, we use Progressive, as they will not only insure all of our vehicles, our fifth wheel and our truck, but it will also give us a discount for bundling it. For our Brinkley, we have a full-time policy. The premium on that is $1,193.76 a year. The RV value itself on that policy is listed at $106,000.
The other policy we have is for our 2024 Ram 3500. We have full coverage on that vehicle, and our yearly premium is $2,303 for the year.
So the one concern that we did have with the policy on the truck when we first signed up is that they were asking us where the vehicle was garaged. Obviously, the vehicle really isn't garaged because it's with us all the time and we're traveling all over the place. So I called Progressive to ask them about that, and they said, oh, no, don't worry about it. Just use your mail service address as the garaging address, just because it has to have one, but it won't be a problem.
So one caveat is we haven't never been able to... Why can't we talk today?
I know, because we drank last night.
We had a party in the rig last night.
We did have a party in the rig last night and drank a bit. Our brains aren't firing as hard as they should be.
So the only caveat here is we've never had to file a claim with Progressive, so we're not sure how they handle claims. But I can tell you, anytime we've called them, they've been really wonderful at answering our questions, responding, everything. So I have no complaints there. I should add another little caveat.
What's that?
My daughter-in-law works for Progressive.
Oh yeah, so we can always beat on her if they give us any problems.
Okay. Is that it?
You have to do the toss to me.
Oh, toss.
Don't drink the
punchy.
night before you're shooting the
Right?
show.
Just don't do it. All right, so that covers this week's show. So what are we going to do next week?
Well, before I tell you, I'm going to ask you that if you got something out of this video, please hit the like button. Also, if you could leave a comment below. Those are the two things that will help us the most with the algorithm. You could also hit the subscribe button, and if you want to know when the next video in this How to Full-Time RV series is coming out, just click on that notification bell and it will give you a notification once that video is released. Oh, the other thing, you will notice that there is a QR code right over here somewhere. We've started to use the QR code because we found that like 75% of you actually watch us on a television. So if you're trying to subscribe, just scan that QR code with the camera on your telephone. Scan it, it'll take you there to subscribe. All right, enough of the selling thing. What are we gonna do next week? So next week, we are gonna cover how we keep our beautiful rig from falling down around us. We're gonna look at things like some of the maintenance we do and some of the best practices that we put into place to avoid wear and tear on the rig.
Still looks brand new.
It does still look brand new. All right, that's it. We will see you next week.